The unexpected visitor. The quantum variance detector wasn't supposed to make that sound. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the readout, her coffee forgotten in her hand as impossibly precise numbers scrolled across her screen. In 15 years of scanning the stars for signs of intelligent life, she'd never seen anything like this. "Hey, Dr. Wong," she called out, not taking her eyes off the monitor. "You might want to see this." The aging radio telescope facility outside New Mexico had been her home for the past decade. While others chased more lucrative careers, Sarah had dedicated herself to the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Most days it meant sifting through endless noise, looking for patterns that never emerged. But this signal, this was different. Dr. Marcus Wong appeared behind her, his weathered face reflecting in her screen. "What have you found?" "Look at these quantum signatures," Sarah pointed to the oscillating patterns. "They're perfectly aligned across multiple frequencies. This isn't random noise, and it's definitely not one of our satellites." Wong leaned closer, his expression shifting from skepticism to wonder. "The precision, it's beyond our current technology. Where's it coming from?" Sarah pulled up the positioning data. "That's the strange part. The signal appears to be originating from multiple points simultaneously, all within our solar system. It's like whatever's generating this knows how to exist in quantum superposition." A sharp crack of thunder made them both jump, despite the cloudless sky outside. The lights flickered, and Sarah's instruments went haywire. Every screen in the control room lit up with the same impossibly precise patterns. "Dr. Chen," Wong's voice was tight, "I think something's responding to our observations." The air in the center of the room began to shimmer, like heat waves rising from hot asphalt. But instead of dissipating, the distortion intensified, taking on a bluish tinge. Sarah's quantum variance detector screamed, its readings off the charts. "We should call someone." Wong reached for the phone, but Sarah caught his arm. "Wait," she whispered. "Look." The shimmer coalesced into a humanoid form. Where there had been empty air moments before, a woman now stood. But woman wasn't quite right. Her skin had an opalescent quality, shifting colors like oil on water. Her eyes were solid silver, with no pupils or irises, yet somehow conveyed a profound intelligence. Dr. Sarah Chen, the being spoke, her voice carrying harmonic overtones that made Sarah's teeth vibrate. "I am Lyra. I've traveled far to find you." Wong moved to stand between them, but Sarah stepped forward. This was the moment she'd spent her career preparing for. "How do you know my name?" "Your work on quantum consciousness caught our attention," Lyra replied. "You're closer to understanding the true nature of reality than any other human scientist. That's why I chose you." "Chose me for what?" "To help save both our species." Lyra's form flickered, like a bad hologram. "My people, the Lumini, have developed the ability to manipulate quantum fields. We can exist in multiple states simultaneously, travel vast distances through quantum tunneling, even alter the fundamental forces of reality itself." Sarah's scientific mind raced with the implications. "That explains the signal patterns we detected." "Yes, but another species, the Andromedans, seeks to weaponize our abilities. They've already conquered half our galaxy. Earth is one of the few worlds still hidden from them, thanks to its unusual quantum signature. I've come to warn you and to ask for sanctuary." Wong finally found his voice. "Why should we believe you?" Lyra raised her hand, and reality itself seemed to bend around her fingers. A small sphere of pure light formed, containing what looked like a miniature galaxy. "Because I can show you the truth." The sphere expanded, filling a room with a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Sarah gasped as she saw Earth's position and the massive empire spreading across space like a cancer. "The Andromedans will find Earth eventually," Lyra continued. "But with my help, humanity might have a chance to defend itself. Your species has something unique, a natural resistance to quantum manipulation. With the right knowledge, you could become the force that finally stops their expansion." Before Sarah could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. On her screens, multiple objects had just appeared in Earth orbit, their quantum signatures matching Lyra's. "They followed me." Lyra's voice carried genuine fear. "Dr. Chen, I need your help. Your understanding of quantum mechanics, combined with my abilities, might be our only chance. Will you help me?" Sarah looked at Wong, who gave her a slight nod. This was bigger than their research, bigger than any human concern. This was about survival. "What do you need me to do?" "First," Lyra's form stabilized, becoming more solid. "Teach me to appear human. They'll be looking for quantum signatures, but if I can mask myself as one of you?" Sarah straightened her lab coat, mind already racing with possibilities. "I have some ideas about that, but you should know, if you're lying to us, if this puts Earth in danger." "I understand." Lyra's silver eyes met Sarah's. "My life is in your hands, Dr. Chen, and perhaps the fate of both our peoples as well." As if to emphasize her words, another alarm sounded. The objects in orbit were descending into the atmosphere. The hunt had begun, hidden in plain sight. Sarah's hands flew across her keyboard, initiating the observatory's emergency shutdown protocols. "Dr. Wong, destroy all records of the quantum signature detection. Lyra, can you mask your energy output?" The Lumini's opalescent skin rippled with effort. Gradually, her otherworldly appearance faded, replaced by human features: olive skin, dark hair, and eyes that now merely shimmered with silvery flecks rather than glowing outright. "The physical camouflage is simple," Lyra said, her voice now lacking its ethereal harmonics. "But suppressing my quantum signature requires constant concentration." "The basement lab," Wong interjected, already deleting files. "It's lined with experimental metamaterials. Might help mask any residual signatures." They hurried through darkened corridors as distant sonic booms announced their pursuer's arrival. In the basement lab, Sarah activated the metamaterial shielding while Wong sealed the heavy doors. Banks of computers hummed, their screens displaying ongoing experiments in quantum field manipulation, ironically perfect cover for that alien visitor. "Quick thinking," Lyra observed, examining the metamaterial walls with obvious interest. "These patterns, they're remarkably similar to Lumini quantum dampening technology, though far more primitive." Primitive. Sarah couldn't help feeling slightly defensive. "We developed these based on purely theoretical models." "Which makes it all the more impressive," Lyra smiled. "Your species works with such limited understanding, yet achieves remarkable results. It's why the Andromedans fear you." A deep thrumming penetrated the lab's walls. Search vessels, Sarah guessed, scanning for Lyra's quantum signature. She watched the monitors anxiously, but the metamaterial shielding held. "We need a better plan than hiding," Wong said, pacing. "They'll eventually search every research facility, especially ones studying quantum mechanics." "Agreed," Sarah turned to Lyra. "You said humans have natural quantum resistance. Can you explain exactly what that means?" Lyra's expression grew thoughtful. "Your consciousness, it exists partially outside normal quantum states. While most species' minds can be easily entangled and manipulated, human thoughts remain stubbornly independent. The Andromedans can't simply rewrite your reality as they do with others." "That's why they want to eliminate us," Sarah realized. "We're immune to their primary method of control." "Precisely, but it's more than that. Some humans, like yourself, Dr. Chen, have begun to develop rudimentary quantum abilities of your own. Your research isn't just theoretical. You're unconsciously manipulating quantum fields in your experiments." Sarah remembered the unexplained successes in her recent work, results that seemed to defy probability. "Is that why you sought me out specifically?" "Yes. With proper training, you could learn to consciously control these abilities, perhaps even teach others." Wong interrupted their discussion. Multiple vehicles approaching. Military probably responding to the orbital incursion. "We need a cover story," Sarah said. Lyra, how's your knowledge of Earth physics? I studied your scientific literature extensively. Though the models are incomplete, I can work within their framework. Perfect. You're now Dr. Lyra Zhang, a visiting quantum physicist from MIT. Dr. Wang, can you backdate some credentials? The older scientist was already typing. Give me 10 minutes. But we'll need to explain the observatory's shutdown and energy surge. Equipment malfunction during a sensitive experiment, Sarah decided. Technically true. Lyra, stay close to me and try to act human. When the military arrived, they found a perfectly ordinary research facility recovering from a failed experiment. Sarah explained the technical details with just enough complexity to make the officer's eyes glaze over. Lyra played her role perfectly, adding appropriately incomprehensible quantum mechanical terminology. But one officer, Major Hayes, lingered after the others left. Her sharp eyes scanned the facility with unsettling intensity. Interesting timing, Hayes remarked. Multiple anomalous objects enter orbit, then vanish near your location, just as you experience an equipment malfunction. Quantum physics often produces seemingly impossible coincidences. Lyra replied smoothly. It's the nature of the field. Hayes smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Indeed, we'll be monitoring the situation closely, Dr. Chen, very closely. After she left, Wang voiced what they were all thinking. She knows something's not right. The Andromedans have likely already infiltrated your military and government structures, Lyra confirmed. They can't control humans directly, but they can influence events through conventional means. Sarah watched Major Hayes' vehicle disappear down the desert road. Then we need to move quickly. Lyra, you said you could teach me to control quantum abilities. Let's start there. It's dangerous, Lyra warned. The process will make your quantum signature more detectable. We're already in danger, Sarah countered. Better to face it prepared. Over the next several days, Sarah discovered that manipulating quantum fields felt surprisingly natural, like flexing a muscle she never knew she had. Under Lyra's guidance, she learned to perceive quantum probabilities, to nudge events ever so slightly in desired directions. Wang provided cover, maintaining the observatory's routine operations while monitoring for any unusual activity. But they all knew it was only a matter of time before the Andromedans made their move. That moment came sooner than expected. Late one night, as Sarah practiced maintaining multiple quantum states simultaneously, every electronic device in the lab failed simultaneously. They're here. Lyra's camouflage flickered as she sensed the approaching threat. They found a way through the metamaterial shielding. Sarah reached out with her new abilities, feeling the twisted quantum signatures of their hunters. How many? 3 full quantum manipulators, backed by human agents. Lyra's expression was grim. They're not here to capture me anymore. They're here to eliminate all witnesses. Sarah exchanged looks with Wang. They'd known this fight was coming. Now they would show the Andromedans exactly why humanity had earned its reputation for defiance. Well then, Sarah allowed a small smile as she felt quantum possibilities swirling around her. Let's give them a proper Earth welcome. The lab's emergency lights cast everything in red as footsteps approached their door. The real test of humanity's quantum resistance was about to begin. The hunter's trail. The lab door disintegrated into quantum particles, scattering like stardust. Through the opening stepped 3 figures that seemed to bend reality around them. Andromedan quantum manipulators. Their forms shifted constantly, as if unable to decide which dimension to exist in. Behind them came Major Hayes, her eyes now glowing with an unnatural purple light. Dr. Chen, she said, her voice overlaid with harmonic frequencies. Your resistance is admirable but futile. Surrender the Lumini. Sarah felt Lyra tense beside her. The quantum manipulators were trying to destabilize the room's atomic structure, but something was wrong. Their powers weren't working as expected. Fascinating. The lead Andromedan spoke, its voice like grinding crystals. The human's quantum field is interfering with ours. Impossible. Sarah smiled, remembering Lyra's lessons. She wasn't just resistant to quantum manipulation, she was actively disrupting it. Welcome to Earth. Things work a little differently here. She reached out with her newfound abilities, feeling the quantum probability waves around them. The Andromedans were trying to exist in multiple states at once, making them nearly impossible to harm. But Sarah could see the pattern now, the mathematical beauty of quantum superposition. Dr. Wong, she called out, remember that failed experiment from last month? The one that nearly overloaded our quantum containment field. Wong's eyes widened in understanding. He dove for the control panel while Sarah and Lyra moved to protect him. The Andromedans launched attacks that warped space itself, but Sarah found she could deflect them, turning their own quantum uncertainty against them. You're only delaying the inevitable, Hayes sneered. Earth will join the Andromedan Empire, one way or another. That's where you're wrong, Sarah replied, buying time as Wong worked. Humans don't submit. We adapt. We overcome. And most importantly, she allowed herself a small grin. We learn from our mistakes. Wong slammed down a lever. The lab's experimental quantum field generators spun up, but instead of trying to contain quantum effects, they did the opposite, amplifying them to impossible levels. The Andromedans' multiple quantum states began to interfere with each other. What have you done? The lead Andromedan's form flickered violently. Forced quantum decoherence, Sarah explained, feeling a surge of pride in human ingenuity. You exist in too many states at once. We're making you choose just one. The Andromedans writhed as their quantum superpositions collapsed. Hay stumbled, the purple glow fading from her eyes as their control over her broke. But the victory was short-lived. The quantum manipulators were already adapting, stabilizing themselves. Run. Lyra grabbed Sarah's arm. They'll recover in seconds. They fled through the observatory's winding corridors, Wong helping the now disoriented Hayes. Behind them, reality warped and twisted as the enraged Andromedans gave chase. Equipment exploded into its component atoms, walls phased in and out of existence, but somehow Sarah's presence continued to disrupt their powers. The main telescope array, Sarah gasped as they ran. If we can reach it. They'll call reinforcements, Lyra warned. The entire Andromedan fleet will descend on this location. Good. Sarah's mind raced with possibilities. That's exactly what we need. They burst out into the desert night. The massive radio telescope dishes loomed above them, silhouetted against the star-filled sky. Sarah could feel quantum probabilities swirling around the powerful instruments humans had built to pierce the mysteries of the cosmos. Dr. Wong, get Hayes to safety, she ordered. Then contact every observatory in the network. Tell them to point their telescopes at these coordinates. Sarah, Wong's voice was heavy with concern. Whatever you're planning. Trust me, she smiled at her mentor. Humanity's ready for this. As Wong disappeared into the darkness with Hayes, Sarah turned to Lyra. Your people can exist in quantum superposition naturally, right? Can you sync your quantum state with mine? Lyra's silver eyes widened. A quantum entanglement between our species. It's never been done. First time for everything. The Andromedans emerged from the building, their forms now stable but radiating fury. Your primitive tricks won't work again, their leader snarled. They don't need to. Sarah reached for Lyra's hand. Ready? As their fingers touched, Sarah felt her consciousness expand. Lyra's quantum state merged with hers, two different species awareness combining in ways that should have been impossible. Through their shared perception, she could see the quantum structure of reality itself. The radio telescopes hummed to life around them, dishes turning to focus on a single point in space. Across the globe, other observatories were doing the same, creating a network of quantum-sensitive instruments all working in perfect harmony. Impossible, the lead Andromedan stumbled back. You're amplifying the human quantum resistance field, broadcasting it. Sarah's voice came from everywhere and nowhere as she spoke through the quantum field itself. Consider this humanity's response to your invasion. The quantum-enhanced radio network activated, sending a pulse of pure human consciousness into space. The Andromedan ships in orbit flickered and failed as their quantum technology encountered something they'd never faced, an entire planet's worth of quantum-resistant human willpower. But the power was overwhelming. Sarah felt her mind straining as she channeled impossible energies. The last thing she saw before consciousness fled was the Andromedans retreating, their forms dissolving into quantum uncertainty, and Lyra's amazed expression as she witnessed humanity's true potential unleashed. The battle was won, but the war was just beginning. As Sarah collapsed, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if the universe itself was acknowledging that humanity had just announced its presence on the cosmic stage. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, the Andromedan Empire trembled. Quantum revelations. Sarah awoke to the steady beep of medical equipment and the sensation of existing in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Her consciousness flickered between realities before settling into the present moment. The hospital room came into focus, along with Lyra's concerned face hovering nearby. 3 days, Lyra said before Sarah could ask. The quantum entanglement nearly overwhelmed your neural pathways. Even my people rarely attempt such deep synchronization. Did it work? Sarah's voice was hoarse. Better than we could have imagined. Dr. Wong stepped into view, tablet in hand. The quantum pulse you generated wasn't just defensive, it awakened something in humanity as a whole. He turned the tablet to show her news headlines from around the world, reports of unexplained phenomena, people discovering strange new abilities, scientific instruments detecting massive quantum anomalies. The pulse had triggered a cascade effect, accelerating humanity's latent quantum potential. The Andromedans retreated, Lyra continued, but they'll return. What you did, it proved their worst fears about humanity's potential. We're no longer dealing with containment or elimination. They'll commit their entire fleet to ensuring Earth never reaches its full quantum awakening. Sarah tried to sit up, fighting waves of dizziness. Then we need to prepare. How long do we have? A few weeks, maybe less. But there's something else you need to know. Lyra's form flickered with anxiety. The truth about why my people chose Earth. Wong pulled up a chair, his expression grave. We've been analyzing the data from the quantum pulse. The patterns, they're not random. Earth's quantum resistance isn't natural, Lyra admitted. My ancestors, they seeded your planet with quantum-altered genetic material millions of years ago. Humanity was engineered to be the perfect weapon against quantum manipulation. Sarah felt the room spin, and not just from her injuries. We're an experiment. A desperate gamble, Lyra corrected. The Andromedans were already spreading across the galaxy. My people knew conventional resistance was futile. We needed a species that could evolve true quantum immunity, but we couldn't create it ourselves without the Andromedans detecting our work. So you chose Earth, Wong concluded, hidden, primitive, but with potential. Yes, we accelerated your natural evolution toward quantum resistance, then waited, watching, hoping. Lyra's silver eyes met Sarah's. What you did with the radio telescope network, it exceeded our highest expectations. You didn't just resist quantum manipulation, you weaponized that resistance. Sarah processed this revelation, feeling anger and wonder compete in her mind. Humanity's greatest strength, their stubborn independence, their ability to defy impossible odds, had been deliberately cultivated, but they'd taken that engineered potential and made it uniquely their own. There's more, Wong said quietly. Show her, Lyra. The Lumini raised her hand, projecting a quantum hologram of DNA strands. When we merged our quantum states, I saw something extraordinary. Your DNA isn't just resistant to quantum manipulation, it's evolving beyond our original design. Humanity is developing abilities we never thought possible. The hologram shifted, showing waves of quantum energy emanating from human population centers worldwide. The pulse you generated didn't just broadcast resistance, it activated dormant quantum sequences in human DNA. People are beginning to manifest abilities spontaneously. As if to demonstrate, Sarah found she could see the quantum probability waves around them without effort now, could sense the interconnected web of human consciousness spreading across the planet. The hospital buzzed with newly awakened quantum potential. So we're not just fighting for survival anymore, she realized. We're fighting for the right to control our own evolution. The Andromedans will try to stop this awakening at any cost, Lyra warned. They're already mobilizing their fleet, but there might be a way. She hesitated. What is it? The quantum pulse revealed something else, ancient Lumini technology hidden beneath Earth's surface. Sites of concentrated quantum energy that could be used to enhance and direct humanity's awakening. If we can activate them before the Andromedans return, we could complete the awakening on our terms, Wong finished. Give humanity a fighting chance. Sarah swung her legs off the bed, ignoring the protests of both her body and her companions. Then we better get started. Where's the nearest site? Sarah, Wong cautioned, you're still recovering. We don't have time. She stood, unsteady but determined. The Andromedans are coming with everything they have. We need to be ready. Lyra projected another hologram, this one showing a global map with pulsing points of quantum energy. The closest node is in the Atacama Desert, but accessing it won't be easy. The Andromedans will have agents watching every site. Good thing we're not going alone. Sarah reached out with her enhanced senses, feeling the web of awakened humans across the planet. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our quantum resistance, it's our ability to unite against impossible odds. She turned to her companions, a plan already forming. Dr. Wong, we need to contact every scientific institution that registered quantum anomalies after the pulse. Lyra, can you teach others what you taught me? Yes, but... Then we're going to build an army, not of soldiers, but of scientists, researchers, dreamers, people who spent their lives pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. Sarah smiled, feeling quantum possibilities multiply around them. The Andromedans think they're coming to stop an awakening. Instead, they're going to witness a revolution. Outside the hospital window, the sun was setting on an unchanged world, but Sarah could feel the quantum ripples spreading, carrying humanity toward a future no one, not even their Lumini creators, had imagined possible. The next phase of human evolution had begun. The choice. The Atacama Desert stretched endlessly under the starlit sky, its ancient sands hiding secrets older than human civilization. Sarah stood at the edge of a massive radio telescope array, now repurposed as a quantum energy detector. Around her, dozens of scientists from across the globe worked to understand their newly awakened abilities. Another group manifested abilities in Singapore, Wong reported, checking his tablet. The quantum awakening is accelerating exponentially. Sarah watched a young physicist accidentally phase her coffee cup through a solid table. Any word from our orbital monitors? The Andromedan fleet will arrive in 36 hours. Lyra emerged from a shimmer of quantum probability. Her human disguise was unnecessary now. Her natural opalescent formed a testament to how much had changed in just a few weeks. Their numbers are significant. How significant? 10,000 ships, the largest fleet they've ever assembled. Lyra's silver eyes reflected the starlight. They're treating Earth as an extinction-level threat. Sarah absorbed this information, feeling the weight of responsibility settle deeper. In the weeks since the first quantum pulse, humanity had made incredible strides. Research facilities worldwide had become training centers for newly awakened abilities. The scientific community, faced with irrefutable evidence of humanity's true potential, had united with remarkable speed. But would it be enough? A commotion from the main facility interrupted her thoughts. Major Hayes, now freed from Andromedan influence and one of their strongest allies, rushed toward them. "We've decoded their transmission," she reported breathlessly. "The Andromedans, they're offering Earth a choice." The message played over the facility's quantum-enhanced communications system, its crystalline tones translated into English. "People of Earth, your quantum awakening threatens the stability of the galaxy. Surrender now, accept our guidance, and we will help you control these dangerous abilities. Refuse, and we will be forced to prevent your chaotic evolution by any means necessary. You have 12 hours to respond." They're scared, Wong realized. They've never faced a species they couldn't control. "Good." Sarah turned to address the assembled scientists and military personnel, "because we're about to show them exactly why they should be." She activated the quantum imaging system they developed, projecting a hologram of the ancient Lumini installation buried beneath the desert. The facility contains a quantum amplification matrix. According to Lyra's people, it was designed to safely guide humanity's quantum evolution over thousands of years. "We're going to use it to complete the process in hours." "The risks are enormous," Lyra cautioned. "Accelerating evolution on this scale, it could destroy your species as easily as advance it." "The Andromedans will destroy us anyway if we surrender." Sarah traced the facility's schematics. "At least this way, we choose our fate." Hay studied the tactical displays. "Even if we activate the matrix, their fleet is massive. We'd need time for the evolution to take effect. Then we'll give it to you." Everyone turned to see Dr. Wong step forward. "The observatory network. If we overload every quantum-sensitive telescope on Earth simultaneously." "Marcus, no." Sarah understood immediately. "The energy backlash would kill anyone controlling the network." He smiled gently. "I'm dying anyway, Sarah. The quantum exposure from our first encounter with the Andromedans. This way, my death means something." Before anyone could argue, quantum alarms blared. Above them, the sky lit up with thousands of entry trails. The Andromedans had launched their first wave early. "They're trying to prevent us from reaching the facility." Hayes snapped into command mode. "All defense forces, prepare for engagement." Sarah grabbed Wong's arm. "There has to be another way. There isn't time." A mentor's eyes were calm. "You taught me that science is about pushing boundaries, about taking risks to understand the universe. Let me do this." Around them, chaos erupted. Newly awakened humans used their developing abilities to combat Andromedan forces, the desert air crackling with quantum energy. Military jets engaged alien craft in impossible dogfights as reality itself warped and twisted. "Sarah," Lyra's voice was urgent. "The facility, it's now or never." Wong pulled Sarah into a quick hug. "Go, change the world. It's what you've always been meant to do." Tears burning in her eyes, Sarah nodded. She reached out with her quantum senses, connecting with every awakened human in the area. Their combined consciousness answered eagerly, ready to make history. "Major Hayes, can you hold them off?" Hayes grinned, her eyes glowing with quantum energy. "Oh, we'll give them a show they'll never forget." As Sarah and Lyra raced toward the buried facility's entrance, Wong began connecting to observatories worldwide. Above them, the battle for Earth's future raged across quantum dimensions, humanity's resourcefulness and determination on full display. The choice the Andromedans offered was no choice at all. Humanity would forge its own path as it always had. The only question was, what would they become in the process? The ancient facility's doors opened before them, revealing technology that had waited millions of years for this moment. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the quantum web of human consciousness pulse with possibility. "Ready?" she asked Lyra. "To watch humanity surpass everything we imagined them to be?" Lyra smiled. "Always." Together, they stepped into humanity's next evolution, as behind them, Dr. Wong prepared to give his life to ensure they had the time they needed. The quantum matrix hummed to life, and the future began to change. Humanity's stand. The ancient Lumini facility thrummed with power as Sarah and Lyra raced through crystalline corridors. Above them, the battle for Earth raged across multiple quantum dimensions. Through her enhanced senses, Sarah felt every moment, Hayes leading impossible aerial maneuvers against Andromedan ships, awakened humans discovering new abilities in the heat of combat, and Wong connecting the world's observatories for one final desperate gambit. The Matrix chamber, Lyra pointed ahead. But something's wrong. The quantum signatures. They burst into a vast circular room dominated by a crystalline structure that pulsed with multidimensional energy. But they weren't alone. 3 Andromedan quantum manipulators waited, their forms shifting between states of matter. Did you think we wouldn't protect the very tool our ancestors created to contain you? The lead Andromedan's voice shattered reality around them. The Lumini weren't the only ones who seeded Earth. Sarah's mind raced. You interfered with our evolution too. Of course, for every quantum resistance gene they planted, we added limiters, barriers. Humanity was never meant to awaken. The Andromedan gestured, and the crystal matrix flickered. Your species was meant to be the perfect battleground between our empires, forever locked in evolutionary stalemate. Then you never understood humans at all, Sarah replied, feeling the quantum web of consciousness spanning Earth poles stronger. We don't accept limitations, we break them. She reached out to Wong through their quantum connection. No. Across the planet, every quantum-sensitive telescope turned skyward. Wong's voice, strained but determined, echoed through the quantum field, initiating final sequence. Sarah, it's been an honor. The observatories overloaded simultaneously, creating a quantum feedback loop that momentarily stunned the Andromedan fleet. In that same instant, Wong's consciousness dispersed across the quantum field, his final act becoming part of humanity's shared awareness. His sacrifice is meaningless, the Andromedan leader snarled. You cannot activate the Matrix without our access codes. We don't need to activate it. Sarah smiled. We already have something better. We have human ingenuity. She pulled out a quantum scanner, the same basic model she used when this all began, now modified with impossible innovations born of humanity's awakening. Your limiters, the Lumini's enhancements, they're all just code. And humans, we're really good at hacking code. Before the Andromedans could react, she connected to the Matrix, not to activate it, but to read it, understand it, and share that understanding through the quantum web, linking every awakened human on Earth. Thousands of brilliant minds, scientists, mathematicians, programmers, instantly began analyzing the ancient programming. Impossible, the Andromedans form destabilized in shock. Your species couldn't possibly comprehend. Individually, maybe not, Lyra's voice held wonder as she witnessed humanity's true potential unleashed. But together, through their shared consciousness, solutions emerged. Quantum equations solved themselves as thousands of awakened minds worked in perfect sync. The Matrix wasn't just a tool for controlled evolution, it was a key to understanding the quantum nature of consciousness itself. Sarah felt the moment humanity broke through, not by following the paths laid out by other ancient species, but by forging an entirely new one. The Matrix crystallized their shared understanding, and Earth's quantum field transformed. Above them, the Andromedan fleet faltered as their quantum technology encountered something unprecedented, a planet-wide consciousness that existed in perfect quantum harmony while maintaining absolute independence. Every human mind linked yet distinct, their combined potential greater than the sum of its parts. You wanted to control human evolution. Sarah addressed the stunned Andromedans. Watch this. Through the quantum web, she shared her next thought. Everyone. Jump. As one, humanity exercised its newfound understanding of quantum mechanics. Reality rippled as billions of human minds synchronized briefly, then deliberately fell out of sync in a precise pattern. The resulting quantum wave cascaded through space-time. The Andromedan ships, dependent on stable quantum fields, found themselves in a universe that no longer played by their rules. Their technology failed as Earth's quantum signature rewrote local space-time. "What have you done?" The lead Andromedan's form began to dissolve. "Exactly what humans always do," Sarah replied. "Adapted, evolved, on our own terms." The quantum wave expanded outward, a clear message to the galaxy. Earth was under its own protection now. Humanity had taken the seeds planted by ancient species and grown something entirely unexpected, a civilization that could manipulate quantum reality while maintaining the creative chaos that made them unique. As the Andromedan fleet retreated, Sarah felt Wong's sacrifice echo through the quantum web, his consciousness preserved in humanity's shared understanding. They had lost much in this battle, but gained something greater, true independence. "What now?" Lyra asked, watching the matrix pulse with new patterns never seen before. Sarah looked up through the facility's crystal ceiling at the star-filled sky, feeling humanity's potential unfold in countless quantum possibilities. "Now, we explore, we learn, we grow. But most importantly," she smiled, "we do it our way." In orbit, Hayes led the cleanup effort, coordinating with awakened humans worldwide to stabilize Earth's new quantum field. Research centers already buzzed with ideas for applying their new understanding. The age of quantum humanity had begun. And somewhere in the vast quantum web of human consciousness, Wang's final thoughts echoed. "The stars were always meant to be our destination. Now we can reach them not as servants or soldiers, but as ourselves." Sarah stepped out of the facility into the desert dawn. Above her, the sky seemed brighter, filled with possibilities that even the ancient Lumini and Andromedans had never imagined. Humanity had faced its trial by fire and emerged transformed, not into what others had planned, but into something uniquely, wonderfully human. The dance of stars continued, but now humanity would lead the way. The end.